You've been playing this video, I see you.
Report 245 Los Santos Gun Club.
I told you that 90 to 100% of Americans
Copy this, Rope 6. We'll keep riding.
according to the latest polls, share American values include even most contentious topics: abortion, immigration, free speech, and the values beneath those. The values that hold us together. Hard work, not helplessness.
Fucking hell.
Faith, not fear. Gratitude, not grievance. Equality of opportunity.
Yeah, piggy, 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 piggy.
Equality
Yeah,
of
piggy, piggy, piggy.
I see the perp. We're in pursuit.
You don't see me. I'm inside a building, you fucking lying cocksucker.
equal justice under the law, regardless of race or religion. Taking care of our land, not destroying it. Excellence, not mediocrity.
Won't be too bad if there's hostages too, mate. For real, fuck you.
Strong that we are to compete and lead the world. If anyone tries to tell you differently, they're either making money or using you for their goals. To your screams for American values. Look to your neighbors. We,
Now, who put this out?
the store.
It's not necessarily an advertisement.
This is the account.
Yeah, it's us, the story.
Suspect last seen at
They've been organizations.
Oh,
and there are
good
some
shot.
organizations on tracking influence in American politics. Russia and China, and but mostly Russia and China. And then some of the cutouts, like WEF through USAID funded as well. So some of the money starts here, goes there.
Yeah.
Influence is back here.
Dispatch, we got eyes on the perp. We're in pursuit.
units reported
This is
Los Santos Gun Club.
the community about Russia funding Antifa and BLM. They had corroborating evidence to show that as well, and it didn't come from them.
Suspect last seen at Los Santos Gun Club.
That you hear from this group or that group, like, these people are evil, this group are Nazis, or these people don't care about this or whatever. And it's probably true to some degree. People at the head of these organizations or political parties or whatever, those people should be distrusted, frankly. But your neighbor has nothing to do with that shit. Most American people, on about 80 to 85% of shit, have no difference, right? And we choose, this is a choice that we make, to focus on 15 instead of 85. That's a choice that we make every single day. Why? I don't know. Like, how is it making us stronger as a country? How's it making your life better? How's it making our economy better? How's it making the free expression of ideas and freedom better in the country? All it's doing is allowing you to become a single issue voter. Right? Being duped by these assholes. That's literally all it does. It's make you a victim to propaganda.
We want a team sport. And it's almost like rooting for a football team at this point. We want to a guest show up on some real scientist, he wrote the show, he wrote that book. Where he gets everybody to go to dinner, just dinners with their friends. Everybody on the show to tell you politics. You have a name tag, your first name only, and then you chat with everybody. And his theory was, as a behavioral scientist, that everybody on the right left is off by approximately questions, maybe 3 times. Other than that, it's different.
Some of it isn't even, some of that's not even true. Because Bob has talked about this before with RBG. The issue of abortion was settled in the early 1970s. Everybody had agreed that the standard should be about 15 weeks because that was.
We have a visual. Moving in.
Don't have a visual. I'm inside a building.
Yeah, we're done with this.
Actually, I think back then it wasn't even close to viability.
No, it wasn't. It was 22 weeks back then, which is 7 weeks is almost 2 months, so fair enough. But people agreed pretty much on 15 weeks, and now.
So that'd be like roughly the end of the first trimester.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So they made case law out of it for no reason, and bad case law that's unenforceable technically, which is why it got overturned in the first place. But that was a settled issue that the government chose to step in and adjudicate, probably due to outside pressure, right? And the outside pressure is always the same. It's this fucking Atwater dick from Nixon's organization who wanted to, they call it Southern strategy, right? We're going to pit white people against black people. Yeah, that was part of it. They did it. You can say whatever you want to about it, fucking go out and grab hold of my shit. That's what happened. It's a tape saying that's what he did. It's that. So many of
Back. We've got eyes on target.
rewind 15 years and you're not a mainstream Democrat.
Even not being a shut up?
Democratic at the top. Like Barack Obama saying immigration's got to stop. This shit's got to stop. We're going to bring American jobs back to the US. And this blah blah. Every single fucking talking point that Trump has.
Fucking faggot.
Democrat for 30 years. Every single talking point he has is exactly what they were saying before. And now he's a Nazi saying. These were settled issues that they didn't somehow turn contentious, which is why you should be suspicious of all these. Like, you guys are probably more so on the right side. You should be very suspicious of any right-wing influencer telling you to distrust or hate anybody in person. That's correct.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of those guys are starting to go away. I don't know if you were getting the same take, but on either kids or social media, some of these people who are pretty famous on both sides are getting so low and something either holding up fucking like a shit. It's the White House or that, you know, they have that never attending.
Suspect located. We're moving in.
So yeah, it's
Holy shit! Take cover!
it's insane. Changes more.
We are en route. Air support en route.
Still abortions. Something change, I think, probably the time too.
And it's for singular issues, yeah, but like the fringe, if you want to call it that, the active part of the left is very postmodernist Marxist, with this oppressor versus oppressee. That's it, right? If you are considered an oppressor or part of the oppressor class, then you're always wrong no matter what you do. And if you're part of the oppressed class, you're always right no matter what you do. Which is why these people will call Israel war criminals for bombing military sites that have civilians
I
around.
don't have a visual on the guy.
The civilians at the military site in the first place.
Eye in the sky has no visual.
What Israel's doing is not clear. But that's part of it. And then, you know, black kid gets shot by police. The story is, well, the picture is a picture of him in high school.
Or a baby photo.
And you know, nothing to say about violent criminal history that he may or may not have, and what led up to the shooting in the first place, which is why we have these wild-ass, disparate fucking views on quantitative analysis on this. Douglas Murray did a piece on this back in the day. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, but the average center-left person, if you ask them how many unarmed black people get killed by police every year,
Dispatch, we have the suspect 20.
they say Democrat, they would say 1,000. If you ask them the rest, they would say 10,000. The answer is 9. Yeah, right? And that's how you arrive at that. Is because people are so full of shit.
Well, and also assuming police all gonna do they won't. So
Let's go! Fall back!
Way bigger than it is.
Where'd they go?
And it's actually not that big of a problem. Take today, for example. Bill Maher met with Mar-a-Lago, I guess Kid Rock.
Look! Over there!
Arranged this meeting and said, hey, what if I have dinner with this guy and tell me what you think after dinner? And the liberals have been torching Bill Maher to the point
Dispatch, need guidance here.
fucking TMZ, called in the TMZ
Air support has lost visual.
and said, hey, I should be treated like a fucking hero for actually reaching out to the other side and saying, you know what, man, I'm going to have dinner with this person. And I agree on both sides. Like, I don't know why Bill Maher's getting torched. Like, unless you actually ask the person or get to meet the person and ask them about their beliefs and why they're doing it or why they're not doing certain things that you want them to do, how can you ever come to an agreement on anything? And, like, he's getting fucking murdered right now. I'm not a Bill Maher fan, but he gets all the time. But still, man, I mean, I did the same fucking thing. I'm not a body guy. I went to the goddamn White House, took a shot and did it, man. So, hey, dude, it's possible to go and have conversations with people and not get in fights, not get in arguments. I had a pleasant weekend there. I had a pleasant weekend at the next administration, like I was, or inauguration, and it's possible to do both. But we'll never get there, and especially if mainstream media is jamming this shit in your face on fucking nightly basis, to scare the ever-living shit out of you for no fucking reason whatsoever. They can take responsibility and start voting with their dollar. Because one thing I like to say all the time is people don't take enough responsibility for their own media.
Dispatcher at the location. No suspect visible.
Tony said to Wilson,
Air support has lost visual.
MSNBC. Well, I do it of what we do for a living. Otherwise, I wouldn't. You can be honest with it. You look at who you follow, you look at what you watch, you look at what you read. And just be aware when you're just everyone sits there and whines about the media. It's like they are mostly profit motivated. Yes, they are following the dollar. Yeah, it's whatever you for like either not exactly even on
Buckety.
social media. And social media is a little bit different because we have this need to opine and we have this need to like get into debates with people for some fucking reason. I think some of it's boredom, maybe, but like if you really care about that stuff, stop going to these right-wing influencers pages at all, right? And then the second part of it is when the left-winger bullshit gets thrown into your feed, don't hit the repost or reply button. If you want to do something, screenshot it and post it yourself and then comment on it. Don't give them the traction. You're literally making them money. All engagement makes them money. So for example, on this podcast, right? Someone sees it and hates it, and is like, "This shit's dog shit." Like, who do you think? Yeah, thanks for the comment. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, luckily I don't read them, but take last night. This was something I got involved in last night. It was a friend of ours, Sarah Gonzalez from the Blades. Love her and her husbands. We're good friends. Kid is great. Everything.
Shitty. Ah, you fucking slut.
I think the worst thing in the United States.
Oh,
I
fuck me.
there, but at least for sure it's not. And so what I said was,
What the hell?
it's every single politician in the state except for one.
Fucking move, you fucking slut.
You get them all the fuck out of here on both sides.
Air support en route.
That's about it. Back to your original point, what we think about this, I completely agree with the thesis of that video.
Fucking move.
Yeah, put it down. Look, you have to take responsibility. I mean, if you're going to take responsibility for the food you put in your body and the other things you put in your body, you need to take responsibility. Right, and like, so I'm just gonna pull up my phone to do it. Because it said, hey, Ross, fucking post stuff on Instagram or whatever the fuck it is. And I'm like, I got 3 kids that post other shit, and I actually have a wife that I love, so like, and they're like, yeah, but I mean, you didn't post anything for like fucking 3 days, and so you gotta start sharing. I made 2 posts in the last week, that's what the fucking email says. And I go, hey, dude, what do you I just said, I'm going to phone all day, fucking chill, and it's like, no, I'll post when I want to post, or whatever it is, but yeah, man, yes, take responsibility for yourself.
Located in pursuit.
The general message, and I will stick to that. I think it is 2 to 3 issues tops that separate all Americans. So that 80-20, would you say 80-20? I mean, it's right. From almost every major issue, it's 90-10, but I say 80-20 just to be a little more conservative, I guess. I believe that, actually. I really do. And everybody I've met and talked to, besides myriad fucking crazy people on both sides, but like, most normal goddamn people in the world do, yeah, it's 2 issues, and I understand both. The change thing, you're never really get me on, but that is a no. That's a fucking that is a function of bad messaging from the left. Because if it's a Joe Rogan or Teddy Roosevelt style progressive conservative, and climate change is talking about
Fucking suck.
streams,
Man, you
talking
can't.
about forcing you to do something with an electric vehicle that you know creates more rare earth material waste than any right? Then you would accept that. I think most 90 people would agree that we should take care of our environment. 90% and I'm going to put the 2% are captain of the planet's villains or something. Deal with these 2%. But 98% of people, according to all the massive studies, say, yeah, we should do conservation. So we should take care of the planet. I think some of them rooted in morality. Like, well, God gave us this planet, so we should take care of it. Some of them are just practical. Like, well, we should take care of it. Yes. And people agree with that. It's on the downstream political application that we really do. Because people are bored. None of this matters, dude. None of this, that kind of, the carbon stuff is fake. The Earth is a self-healing apparatus. If we create more
Suspect is missing. Who has eyes?
period. Correct. Period.
Its report has lost visual.
These just dump sludge into the like Mexico fucked up our goddamn drinking water supply down the state. Like they had to move one of the buds classes up the coast a little bit. Yeah, last week because Mexico was like dudes and buds were getting sick from the fucking sludge that Mexico was throwing in. 100% of people, apparently, except for Mexico, can agree that that's Mexico and Mr. Burns from The Simpsons don't agree with that, but everybody else agrees with that. Yeah, so if you're not listening to yourself, you're having honest conversations and all this shit, and not get
Airport inbound.
get that with like most normal fucking people. 2, 3 tops issues, and that's kind of it. I'm gonna lead us to our first sponsor on the show, MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinking Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Get off your couch, get out of the action today with MyBookie.com. Delco Dan and I host a golf show together, and kicked off today. Justin Thomas shot a 10 under.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
My boy Wyndham making a run.
We're all in the mix, by the way. Jason Day is up there. He was doing great. But a 10 under? Somebody's got to be in the high teens at the end of this tournament.
No, it's probably going to be in the 20s, honestly.
I was going to say, is this the easiest golf course on the planet? Like, Jesus Christ. There's always like a fucking one weird weather round, though, isn't there, this time of year in this tournament?
Yes. Yeah,
It's in Hilton Head. Yeah, you rain. You get those thunderstorms right
It's
I don't know if there is
right
any
now.
weather this weekend, though.
Now, Hilton Head's supposed to be really nice this week.
Let's look at the weather. But you could get into the high 20s then, dude, because Scheffler's a -7.
It's 75 and sunny until Monday. Then it's getting a little cloudy, but
Yeah.
you might be right. It might be in the fucking 20s.
And then the NFL draft is next week. That is one of the most gambled on events on the planet. Join us for that. Crazy shit going on with that, man. Sure, Sanders isn't even going to show up.
For what
Draft at all.
Because he's not getting drafted in the first round.
Is that why? Did you get bet on that currently? And like, I'm sure that you guys bet on it. I was like, does he not think he's going in the first? Because Travis Hunter's going. He's not going.
Not. This is probably not going to be drafted in the first round.
Wait, is that real?
Don't we have video of Kamala Harris saying that?
Suspect is now heading west.
Do not come.
Do not come. Yeah. Do not come. I'm gonna go. But yeah, so you can bet on all that we do every single year. One of our biggest events of the year. So join us for the
We have a visual. Moving in.
one night out of the year where there's actually hope for your shitty teams like mine, the Atlanta Falcons, where I actually believe in magic.
Even if you're a Browns fan. The Browns actually have a first-round draft pick for the first time in 4 years this year.
And they're going to take Travis Hunter, probably.
Either him or I think they're actually going to take homeboy from Penn State, Abdul Carter.
I would take Abdul Carter. He did pick in the draft.
They just re-signed, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but they just re-signed Myles Garrett to a 4-year deal.
Yep.
Then they're going to get Abdul Carter by the time it's ready to extend his rookie contract. they can either decide to keep Miles Garrett, which is possible because he's a fucking animal.
But imagine both of those guys lining up. Oh my god, two different
Just
sides.
for 4 years.
I don't even know
And
who
it'd
they're
be
all
We have visual on suspect.
Garrett on a pretty normal guy. It's like a crazy guy
Sheriff report. We do not have signal.
situation.
Yes.
They have to draft him.
Yeah, and by the way, this is only going to amp up. Delco, this is one thing you didn't tell me about that I read last night, man.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, you fucking piece of shit.
Why are you constantly hiding stuff from us?
I don't get it. The UFC is getting out of its contract with ESPN and going to Netflix. You didn't want to tell me that?
Well, they're under the Endeavor umbrella, so they're probably just the same company.
So they want $1 billion a year.
I've got a positive.
Said, yeah, we'll pay it. So they're looking for an NFL style contract. Maybe getting out of pay-per-views, I guess. Is that what's going to happen there? But it appears within the next 3 to 4 years, Netflix will own all of WWE, UFC, and I'm here for it. Let's go, dude.
I can't imagine that's profitable for Netflix.
I don't know. 100.
So much money, though.
$1 billion. Depends on how the deal's structured. It may just be $100.
Oh, you fucking sick.
$1 million comes out to about $20 million per UFC event. That's how much Netflix would be paying for the broadcast.
Sure.
And I mean,
that's worth
but
it.
that's including the fight night stuff too. But
Yeah.
it's all on one thing. And how are they making money on pay-per-view now? Is there going to be a pay-per-view option inside of Netflix, or is it all just free?
Not sure.
How are they making that revenue? I'd have to see this deal to see if it makes any sense.
Well, if you're talking the $1 billion nature, you're starting to get into the NFL wise. And the reason I maybe tell you this in regards to my bookie is you can be able to gamble on a ton of shit off of one network and all that stuff. And it's fun. Like, I like it. I don't like going to 10 different places.
Feel
to
that
watch.
feels already done something anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to Holloway real quick, if you can there. No, he's out the back to brother. He looked like he was going to throw up on himself, possibly shit himself to death. Not real sure they were Gare Bear, but blacked out on a dormant. 48 hours. That first deposit all the way up to $1,000, you might be able to fit on in Carrington's warehouse. And it was someday, we'll see what happens there. Next up, Biden trying to create a police state, a strategic implementation plan for counter domestic terrorism. The Biden administration released in June 2021 was just declassified by DNI Tulsi Gabbard. It has received only negative press from pretty much every single angle.
Yeah, it's wild to see, and back to the point of that video, it's wild to see so many disparate political organizations and wings, even inside of parties. We're all looking at this one now. Yes, the ACLU said that the plan's emphasis on intelligence collection and information sharing could lead to excessive surveillance of Americans, particularly targeting
Suspect is now on the freeway.
They're not wrong. The margin of the just happens to be Catholic moms. Said plans a tool for government to monitor and suppress dissent, especially through its focus on countering misinformation.
Fuck off. Hold on.
But they already could infringe on free speech by allowing tech companies and federal agencies to censor content. Jesus.
Yeah. Oi! Fucking cocksucker. Work, you fucking whore.
Under the guise of preventing radicalization, absolutely true.
Yes.
And this is one of those things we tell you about where don't let the government create weapons, because eventually somebody will come use it on you. Period. It doesn't matter what it begins or how noble the intentions, they will come and use it on you.
Dispatch, suspect has had a collision.
Yeah, it's not pretty sure guys. Not very wise. Looks other more likely forms of domestic terrorism, such as land wing or anarchist violence. So the mass shootings mostly have been leftist and trans people the last 2 years.
Dispatch, we're on the scene. Requesting assistance.
This scene probably had obviously allow for arbitrary enforcement instead. They kind of, this is how government operates sometimes. They will loosely define something that's evil and convince everybody that this word terrorism is this is the most evil thing somebody can be able to go with. They're terrorists. So we have to do something. That's the fun game they play, right? Or like, for example, the parents protesting at school board meetings about gay porn being in fucking elementary schools. Right? Like graphic descriptions of how the fucking suck dick in a school, in a book in an elementary school library. People go to a school board meeting and complain about it. That person is now a domestic terrorist. That's what happened. That's literally what happened. Yeah. Shit like that, and you know, the anti-code stuff, those people are considered extremists. So when I say those people, I mean everybody that's listening to the show right now is considered
Output, with pursuit.
is really, and that's how this was founded, this country that we all live in.
YouTube, Brenda, to leave our channel, Brenda, our channel in 2021 or 22. And, we don't know. All these fuckers are nuts. Change the rate or yes. As soon as he paid all his things, still the same bullshit over there. I think we've gained maybe 14 this week. And that's great. So, yeah. So it's Spotify for top 10 and perfect.
Dispatch, the idiot is trapped.
So I'm
Gee, I'm not
fast.
an idiot.
So I'm wide. So yeah, it's weird to have shows that are censored and then follow the classification of Trump and suggest the man was used as very political weapons. They pointed out that it was J6 and it's almost an anti-quick force. That's evidence of like seasons. There's no success that makes
Oh, shit, I'm in the
of course not. And then this close. Yeah, so like some states are still doing it. Like a couple of states recently have passed the language. Colorado, for example, if you misgender your own child, they can be taken away. That's here's if my child says, "Hey, I think I'm a different gender," they're gonna hit the face.
They go in there.
It's like, hey, yeah,
Fuck me.
dipshit. We don't have time for this. We got things to do. That is a problem with poor people. So give that kid some work to do, and they'll shut the fuck up. Well, yeah, I've said this many times before. The sign of a good law is a clear, concise language. And then the next part, you're able to get very
Oh, they hooked something. Fuck me.
otherwise, it's pointless. So it's special. People love fun. It's a game. He says even a gay man, and they said, I want to change genders, and say, you know what, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go out and get you that beautiful brainy pussy tonight. We're going to get you with 3 pussy. I'm going to that fucking insult. Pussy, because your dad is rich, and you're the fucking pussy. And the family comes over to Christmas, and you're the because of the pussy. She wants you. I just bought you because I think that's one. By the way, Tim, but yeah, the ship account. So it's YouTube, Facebook, and I can tell I think it was this game the term limit in the Constitution. So I think this is what it's like. It's like and like that's really that's why yeah, catch up. That's not, you can just go up to the White House and have a conversation. My mother wrote the president a letter in 70 or 71, and he fucking responded. Like, she wrote a handbook for the French president. So, and it was Nixon. Squeaky from. I wish. I fucking wish, dude. Nobody want that. much value in moments, I guess. But
It's so much. It's range of shit.
it's on the train, like, it's finally starting to talk like us.
For Anthony got on the trail by himself without any help here. Minus the famous person and under the days for us to be rid of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. Some suspect find us as our ship. Chalky's not chalky. So it's more Canadian.
Chicks. So, Devin doesn't really give a shit. I'm just out, and now he's out. He's just being a bitch. You know, and he's calling the kids color.
If you can explain to me the difference between race color people and people of color, then until you don't, until you
So Biden's he's being
seriously chocolate.
like, that's holy shit.
Chalky is one that I got from this windows. Like that. Oh, yeah. That's what I should ever watch it. But
Jesus.
So there's seeing top Koreans, right? Hey, what did I get from this? Well, Koreans have a pretty decent Twitter following now. They have this merch. I think that they not going to make this. Because like the white people that it was a very simple. I don't know. Just that community stays safe. All Koreans on the tops of the line rifles. Yeah, they're going to be and maybe some grenades.
can't see what he looks like. It was a text I got from him that said, "What is bail limit for Drinkin Bros? $5,000." I said yes. You can see what that can do. You know, people can't sell. Yeah, we really got in touch with the Prince of America. Now, we should together. Sleep. Just get away. You know, yes. But this way, it's really bright in here. Unfortunately, it's reached for credit cards to cover bills. Debt is reaching all-time highs. It's making financing and help homeowners pay off high interest things by using loans. Mortgage lenders are around for 25 years. Financing is a license in all 50 states. Mortgage consultants are saying just or any bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Responding to receive $800 a month. They call that financing. It's supposed to show worth actually right now. And they don't charge any upfront payment fees to money. You can say MAs versus rates. That's true. And two mortgage payments or any more savings upfront. They've helped $100,000 annual savings, and those resulted in their reviews on Google.
Oh shit.
866 2275. That's 866 887 2275. Or get financing.net/Drinkin. Speaking to 334@www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, and that's just to look at the company and all that fun stuff. Bob puts the links in the video description and the audio description, so you're good to go. If you can't remember what I just said, that's understandable. Next up, they also might come for your guns. The plan explicitly calls for legislation measures to address gun violence as part of its strategy to confront long-term contributors to domestic terrorism. It advocates for banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, which links to the ability of domestic terrorists to carry out mass casualty attacks. This is going on in Denver. Yeah. To pull this back to actually the whole state of Colorado, but to pull this back to Gary and those guys. And this we've known for years, at least I.
Yeah, and it's the strategy that I laid out before. It's exactly this. Terrorism exists is point one. Domestic terrorism is on the rise is point two. And then here are the tools that terrorists use. Right? They use anonymity, so we get a federal ID system like real ID. Or they use certain types of guns. So we have to fucking ban those guns, blah blah blah, right? So create fear and then adjudicate all afterwards. That's their plan. Obviously, this is a direct assault on the Second Amendment, and no surprise coming from the left, that's what they always do. The plan highlights the role of firearms in domestic terrorism incidents, noting that quote, access to firearms enables lone actors in small cells to execute attacks. Obviously, this language unfairly associates all gun owners with terrorism. It's fucking nonsense. Now, the plan's emphasis on intelligence collection and information sharing across federal, state, and local agencies is also one of the things that's been happening recently. For instance, the plan encourages FBI, DOJ to improve data collection on domestic terrorism, but they're calling domestic terrorist gun owners and Catholic mobs, right? And the only reason to do this is to create a national gun registry, which they're trying to do with the ATF still right now. And there's a billion records that have not been deleted, and they're supposed to. And it's a violation of federal law to create a gun registry in this country. Hard stop.
To me, so real ID because this just came up 48 hours ago for me. Booking flights for all of us. We are doing a live show for the Kentucky Derby down there for my bookie on Friday. So it's May 2nd. the reason I'm telling you this exact date is that Real ID kicks in on the 7th. And so when I was booking flights, my wife was like, hey, you probably don't have the goddamn Real ID. There's no way.
If you've gotten your ID updated in the last 2 to 5 years,
Okay, so like, we had to get that. I don't even know what it is. She actually had to tell me it came to like Yellow Star or something. Can you tell the audience why we have to get Real ID? We get that relationship.
there's literally no purpose. There's no purpose. Like, it's basically trying to create a passport for domestic travel. Like a standardized
Suspect in sight.
system, which is not in any way justified in any part of our constitution. So,
So, that's right. The standard is federal. Yeah, it's public. It's public. So, like, I was looking at the DMV. It's not like anything that tells you or anything that jumps out of the license where it's like a Real ID. It's just a Yellow Star apparently from the state of Texas. Although my picture's still in black and white, like we're in the 1950s here. So that part is weird to me. Texas.
Anyone have a visual on him?
ID. Even
Dispatch. Nothing come up here.
vacation, one of those passport or whatever, showed the passport and they were like, well, this is expired. And they were like, why? So the DMV here in Texas, and I go, I'm not planning to travel overseas anytime soon. Yeah. So I'm in a rush right now.
yeah, I mean, for the purposes of the Real ID, the purpose is to establish that you're an actual U.S. citizen. Because you can get local identification, you can get the stuff that you
Fucking no, faggot. Get down.
to get a driver's license with a previous driver's license with the assumption that that state had done the background on it for it to get the birth certificate, the social security card, and a bill or something that shows that that's actually Texas.
And you supposed to have a shoe.
Different they address, they mail the ID to that address now. That's the verification that they send it to the address. You have to be there to actually collect it.
If you're in the system, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, because of COVID and all the other shits, the wait time was like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and if you, this is the solution. If you're out there and you don't want to participate in this gay shit, and it is fucking pointless, by the way. There's just
Don't got eyes on him. Need some assistance.
and use that when you travel on planes.
Dispatch. Nothing come up here.
I don't know why the Trump administration decided all of a sudden to do things, frankly, because it's not going to fucking stop.
This was enforced like 2 years ago. It's on all my shit.
Signed in 2006, but the part of this, part of the reasons that they've given that stop the rehabilitation and travel. Well, we did the stories because we know how this went down. They weren't using fake ID. The airlines were working with the federal government illegally to move these people around with no identification.
Correct.
That's what was actually happening.
And there was a separate lane that shuttle in the Wilson Airport, by the way, that they'll shuttle them through.
Yeah, GHS was printing off those, like when you get a temporary driver's license, but it's just information they've not verified. No, it's like some Guatemalan or fucking El Salvadoran that says, "Oh, my name's fucking Susie Hernandez. Here's my picture." So,
My name's Diego. I'm father. Totally innocent.
yeah, it's like this. This is how I don't know why they did this for all the pictures, but
Every single one.
it's all a bunch of retarded nonsense. None of it makes any sense. Yeah, so I don't know why they're pushing it now. But yeah, back to the and if you don't want to participate, that's the easy solution.
It's not bad. It's just.
We are en route. Air support en route.
Separate line. You don't have to. No, I don't know. It's, opt out of it. But,
And you should always opt
the
out.
way they talk to you is if you do have to do it. Like, you're the fucking idiot of like, hey man, why don't we just take the picture?
Yeah, because the people that work for TSA have no idea what's happening. Only the ones it's a new security measure. What's happening is they're recording picture after picture after picture of your face, so they can get hundreds of pictures of your face, so they can fucking identify you from a very long distance.
Dispatch. Does anyone report a suspect's whereabouts?
Having fucking
Eye in the sky has no visual.
To blow you up with an AI drone or something.
maybe certainly to track you.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't do it. I'm sneaky fucking silly. No. didn't think they'd come through the roof. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some whole movie
It's
shit.
illegal. Like, there's no constitutional basis for that, just like there's no constitutional basis for tracking what guns I may or may not have. The government's not entitled to know that information about me. Fuck you. Right. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Now, the other stuff, the way this law is written,
Oh, yeah, you
clearly designed
got something you're watching at you.
ownership with domestic terrorism. That was their long-term play. And
Listen, get up.
very careful with this. It's not my responsibility.
I'm out, my neighbor.
My problem. That's
Why are you wearing a helmet, you fucking idiot?
Say it's not my responsibility what someone might do their rights. That's not my problem. Like this hypothetical, what some group or another, individual or another might do with their constitutional right has no bearing on my exercise
Take the
of my
helmet off,
constitutional
you idiot.
fucking period. That's their problem. Now let's be really clear about this. I don't give a shit if there's a mass shooting every single day. I don't care. You aren't taking my guns. You're not living my right to carry them anywhere the fuck I want. Period. And I don't want to hear any of this shit anymore from liberals. Running their fucking suckholes about, oh, this is a coordinated effort to disarm people, to disarm the population, and any material attempt, to be very clear about this as well, any material attempt to do this be met with an armed resolution, or revolution, and you can put that in your fucking domestic terrorism report. Write that down, that's a quote. Dash Dan Holloway, fuck you.
You know, on the other side of this, if you're on the abortion issue, the same way. Yeah, they will. So, it's just the government, fucking general, all this shit, and I don't fucking really need. I mean, what this is fucking for. What the now. The picture thing at the airport makes sense, yes. That is probably the eventual goal of all of this. They're able to do all stadiums as well.
How you know
where
that?
you gotta take a picture. It's just like, oh man. I think it's like a black stitch where, you know, 30 years they'll have all your shit, and if you do something wrong, they'll just kind of pick you up from the sky, and it'll be one shot to the dome, and then you're dead. Yeah, it might not be the worst thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more humane than
We'd suffer less, I guess, but
yeah, but this is like a clear escalation from the left. For real. To try to codify all these different things and just omnibus
Find a job you love, you'll
Department of
never
Justice
work a day in
strategy
your
to
life.
disarm people and disenfranchise their right to speech. That is a huge step forward in the police state. Like, that's a huge problem.
you see what's going on in England? I'll show you something.
An excellent purchase.
On the entire UK.
Yep.
And actually the entire Commonwealth, because Canada's involved in that shit too.
Yep. And then he gets down on the street or whatever, then they went blunt bananas or whatever the fuck's gonna happen. And we want police those where it's actually going on and all that other shit. So yeah. Make your own fucking decisions out there. That's all I'm gonna say. Next up, one of the US Secretary of Defense's leading advisors named Paul was escorted from the on Tuesday for investigation into weeks of the Department of Defense. A U.S. official told Reuters. Well, if you pull up his picture, it's pretty funny here. I can't believe that this is the person who worked in the White House. There we go. I mean, this is fucking awesome. We should leave this up on the screen for 5 minutes. It's terrible. Scary. It's got here's what we need. It's not fair, but I feel like we need to do cops. Life's not always fair. We either need to find a medical solution for butthole eyes, or ban butthole eyes from being public. You know, those two things. Two things, right? But no, you don't have a right. So the Constitution says you have a right to have butthole eyes. It doesn't say you can't either. Yes, there you go. So we need to adjudicate it. Just pop them up one more time. I've never seen somebody so that's really all just scared of them. Usually, it's kind of a grand adventure. Yeah, neighbor, she's off to the right, on the left. You provokes to like the camp, butthole eyes like this. He is living in my fucking soul right now. Pete Davidson knows he's a piece of shit. And if you look him straight in the eyes, he will burn his gaze. Exactly. This guy right here is looking right down the barrel. Get that. He's taunting me. fucking line watch this. Big fucking speed power, 75-inch. Fucking rich too. You're getting like guys, dude.
You can get tall.
To your roof, and you have a
Then you just fall that extra right off the edge.
yeah. Walk on the stairs, take the line, the sheets off,
Dispatch, perfect sight.
hit shoulders, and fly right off the third fucking story.
Now, if I were you, I would wrap him around. Because one way, the impact is not going to be fun. It's just regulation. Yeah, if somebody sees you, and look, you got to choose your accoutrement wisely. I think I've always said this. If you're strength based in something weird, people are not going to participate. But if you wrap Minecraft's hot right now. You wrap Minecraft sheets around your neck and start pounding off, somebody's going to show up. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm almost convinced of that.
Man, my big Steve, it's a micro. It's like everybody. It's exactly. There's two other people, I believe, that got fired as well.
Yeah.
Over the course of the last 24 hours. Yeah, where they share this. And this is the winning streak.
It's probably like, yeah. So, they've been looking at leakers all over the place on March 2021. Or I'm sorry, either way, March 21, that was signed by Hexef Chief of Staff Joe Casper. And from recent unauthorized disclosures of national security information involving sensitive communications. Casper's been well left over the possibility of polygraph, blah blah blah. Although Caldwell is not well known, he has played a critical role in advising Hexef, which is really interesting because Hexef was like a huge in the 2010, 11, 12 area, super big support. He was working at a nonprofit, super big supporter of the Iraq War still. I don't know what his real position on that is now, frankly, but clearly that was the wrong position to take. That was a fucking huge mess. And Caldwell agrees he's been pretty, he's an isolationist guy to a large degree, somewhat similar to himself. So some of the stuff, yeah, so a lot of the stuff he said publicly that people are talking about now are pretty wide-stream beliefs too, right? Libertarian side and on like the anti-war. It's not anti-war, we just don't want to be everybody else's wars. Right. You know what I mean? But clearly, they wouldn't have done this and made it public unless he leaked some pretty serious information, and I'm not sure exactly what it was yet, to be honest.
But looking at this guy, he probably gave up everything.
Well, it's also like, so he was clearly talking to the press and not a foreign agency, because if he was talking to a foreign agency, he would have been arrested.
Yes,
that's correct. Right, so we can at least say that much. I think that's a reasonable conclusion.
Perfect sight, in pursuit.
Yeah, and he was one of the guys. So there was two main